Good ideas don't belong to laboratories. They belong to kitchens, to garages, bus stops, even messy desks. Tonight, I'd like to propose something simple, and maybe a little subversive. We're all scientists. Not because we all wear lab coats and publish papers, but because we share the instinct that drives science. To imagine, to hear, to test, and to learn. If you've ever tweaked a recipe, debugged a computer, helped a kid work through a slump, or even save a house plant by just changing the water schedule, you've done the scientific method. No jargon, no Latin, just efforts with feedback. For some time, we've been exposed and maybe bought into a myth that science is a gated city. It's guarded by equations, acronyms, and intimidating machines that beep at just the exact right time. But the beating heart of science is humble. Observe something that you didn't expect. Hypothesize why that happened. Test the change. Measure the impact of that change. Revise your idea and try again. That loop, observe, hypothesize, test, measure, revise, is older than textbooks, but younger than your newest idea. It's important for us to understand exactly what science is and how that fits. Let me show you how universal this is. Imagine an auto mechanic. You go in, your engine light's on, your car shudders at 45 miles an hour and makes more noise when it stops. What's the mechanic do? Observe. He listens to the rattle. He runs diagnostics. He pops the hood. Hypothesis. Is it the spark plugs? Fuel injectors? Maybe a loose heat shield? Measure or test. You additionally run diagnostics. And you find out what else is there. And to measure, when you want to wonder if the rattling is still there, did the codes clear? And if not, revise and try the most plausible possibility. Now imagine a physician. You go in with a cough, fever, fatigue. The physician will listen to your lungs, check your vitals, ask about onset of symptoms and exposures. That's observation, hypothesis. Is it virus infection, bacterial pneumonia, allergic asthma, something else? And we'll test. Order labs. imaging. Maybe try a bronchodilator. Measure. What do the labs show? Did the fever get better? Revise. Update your diagnosis and iterate the treatment for that illness. It's the same thinking loop. Each of these professionals have to come up with a series of possibilities that impact the health of the car or the health of the patient. And they work together. They don't want to make rapid decisions. They need the data. The data is very important for them to ultimately make the right call to help the car or the patient do well. The one we call mechanical, the other one we call medical. But the cognitive choreography is shared. You do something like this every day. In the kitchen, your bread doesn't rise, and you hypothesize. Maybe the yeast is old. Maybe the water was too hot, or the proofing was too short. You redo it, you measure the rise, you revise. We have a computer. You have an error message. Could it be the network? Could it be the browser? Permissions. You try different things to see what will work. You have a kid who's on your team but not engaged. So you do some context clues. Maybe you change his seat. Give him some other things to do. Check in on him. Does he respond? Measure that response. These are all very important elements and part of the scientific method. You may ask yourself, why does this matter? Why do we have to call it science anyway? Well, because names change sensibilities. Sensibilities change behavior. If you said, oh, it's okay, I'm not a scientist, it's all right, I'm not scientific, but then what you do is you give up the right to explore, to ask good questions, to be real participants in moving science forward, even from your own perspective. But if you say, I'm a scientist in my world, you open up strong possibilities that you can act upon. Clarity over correctness. Scientists don't have to be right immediately. They just have to be progressively less wrong. Humility as a tool. It's okay to say, I might be wrong. But that should fuel you and make you feel as though, even though that experiment maybe tried to send me down a dark alley, it was a map to show me where not to go. That's why it matters. And then iteration with the purpose. If you make one small measured change, it sure beats 5 wild guesses. That's how science compounds itself. I'm going to give you a suggestion here, a pocket guide you can use tomorrow. It's something I call AIMF, because sometimes acronyms can be friendly. We think A, ask a more specific question. Don't ask, why is this bad? Ask, under what circumstances does this fail? I, introduce a change that you can easily measure. Make it simple. And that follows M. Make what you measure simple. And then F, follow the signal. If the change worked, just keep going there. If not, pivot and go after the next plausible possibility. That's it, AIMF. It can take confusion into something much more tangible and positive. There's a secret saying in science. It says, I don't know yet. Think about the mechanic and the physician. They have to go through lots of information. They make differential diagnoses. It's very important for them. What makes a good mechanic and a good physician? They listen. They listen to you, they listen to your car, they listen to the body. All of that information, and it's an information overload, but they stratify it. They figure out which areas to go to. You let the information lead you to the right decision. Absolutely important for both the car and the body. I make beer. I like IPAs. One time I made an IPA and it tasted off. And thinking about it, I felt as though I probably maybe messed up the amount of water salts for the beer that I added. Being the scientist, I decided, well, I'm going to be really careful this time. I'll make the batch again, and then we'll see what happens. Tasted pretty good. Tasted like what I thought it was supposed to the first time. Science didn't save a beer, but it taught me a way to ask questions and to learn. Imagine a neighborhood where people get together and they do little experiments because they want to improve their meetings. Same agenda, they just tweak one little aspect at a time. Or you have a community group and they want to measure their programs, how effective they are, using before and after metrics instead of wishful thinking. These are important aspects that people use using the scientific method. Absolutely critical. Well, how can we get started here? Let's think about something you can do right away. You can do one of these things. Try the two-knob experiment. where you pick something that is kind of an irritant to you. Maybe you have full inbox all the time, or it's difficult to get out of the house in the morning, slow mornings. For one day, change one thing. For example, an empty inbox by noon, or getting out of the house by 7:45 in the morning. You have a house plant that is sick. You feel as though that you can adjust the watering schedule like I talked about in the very beginning. The second aspect I want to talk about, or experiment, is the conversation experiment. In your next difficult conversation, write down the hypothesis that you feel that person that you're going to speak to needs. And then when you speak with them, ask a targeted, respectful question and see how they respond. Measure that response. Did the conversation open up? The third experiment involves all sorts of aspects that you can do, but one element, for example, laundry or leftovers, do a 7-day experiment, but change just one thing. Chart it on paper. Share it with a kid or a neighbor. Learn together. And then share it. Discovery grows when it's shared. If you look back in your life, you think about things, probably changes didn't really occur in thunderclaps. It was probably just small aspects. A little thing here, a little thing there. What if we tried it this way? But it comes back, it's just science. It's all science. I think what we need to do is to throw this myth out the window. Science doesn't live somewhere else. It's not owned by somebody else. It doesn't speak a language we don't understand. It's part of us. We are all scientists. What I've wanted to do today is give you a roadmap to identify the scientist in you. And I want to know, what's your next experiment? Thank you.